Jane got them through the gates of the festival, though Paul totally could have. He wasn't that nervous. They accepted their work crew assignments, happy not to pay for the ticket, and secure in the knowledge, which Jane had gleaned from her one-night stand with a girl from Toronto, that the cool people at the Michigan Women's Music Festival were the workers. Paul had maybe overdone his outfit. He wore a heather pink Farrah Fawcett t-shirt with the sleeves chopped off, black leather wrist cuffs, cut-off Levi's, a spiked belt, and engineer boots with striped tube socks stretching up his calves. His hair was Tatum O'Neal scruffy, Little Darlings era. He wore sunglasses, and he eschewed a bra for dyke realness. He had heard from Jane, who had heard from the Toronto girl, that going topless was a thing at Michigan. He could go topless. He was feeling pretty liberated. "Do I look dykey enough?" he asked. "You'll do," said Jane, who had given herself a flapper haircut before they left and was currently lipsticking an extra-long cigarette holder as she leaned out the driver's window of her hatchback. "Do I look like a tasty morsel for one of those hot San Francisco butches?" Said Paul. "Sure." "Let's find the ladies," said Jane, parking. "Watch out, ladies," said Paul, strapping on Jane's backpack and hugging their 2 borrowed sleeping bags. "I am feeling very sex-positive, very Gail Rubin. I have a somewhat persistent desire. I love that you're a big dyke now, Paul. I really do. But if you cramp my style, I will out you so fast your head will spin. No political revolution is possible without a radical shift in one's notion of the possible and the real," said Paul. "Seriously?" said Jane, distracted by a flat-topped person with an armload of timber. "Ooh, looky." Jane gripped the map they'd been given at check-in and led Paul down a dirt path to a clearing. "Here," she said, dropping tent and duffel and making small, satisfied noises. Paul set himself to gathering kindling so he wouldn't have to admit he didn't know how to pitch a tent. He hadn't been a Boy Scout. He rested a stack of twigs next to their duffels as Jane expertly erected the borrowed 4-man tent. "Wow," said Paul. "It's palatial." "I love camping," said Jane with alienating sincerity. She was sort of outdoorsy, Paul realized, as perhaps were all lesbians at heart. How was he going to pass for 2 entire weeks in the woods? "I have to pee," he said. "I'm going to find a nice private porto, Jane." Jane gave a reassuring snort at Paul's scare quotes. She was still his friend. She wasn't a Stepford lesbian just because they were at Michigan and she had all this secret knowledge of tents. "Go ahead," she said. "I'm going to finish this up and explore for a bit, but I'll meet you at the dinner thing." "Please," said Paul. "Come with me. I need an escort. It's vegetarian." "Just for tonight," she said. "Then I am done babysitting you." Paul set off. He saw a few clumps of people who mostly ignored him. Hippies sporting deadhead bandanas and patchouli he could smell from 15 feet. 2 sensitive shaved-head punks in all black and fluvogs, and some San Francisco types. Paul wasn't used to being ignored, but he didn't mind the opportunity to scope the scene. He walked around the skeletal paths, down the paved road, cutely called Lois Lane, past various tents with workers already busy inside. He and Jane didn't have work shifts until the next day, and they were on different crews, Paul cooking and Jane working security in a scheme to meet butches. He wanted the lay of the land, as he always did, so he walked and walked, memorizing landmark trees. Back at the campsite, he found Jane deep in flirtation with Flat Top. "This is Frog," said Jane. "Frog, meet my friend—" "Polly," said Paul quickly, unconvinced of Jane's solidarity or memory. "Nice to meet you." Frog, conveniently camped one side over and on long crew, led them to dinner, impressing Jane and boring Paul, who decided Jane was settling again. Why not look around a bit more? He thought. It's a game preserve. Over bowls of lentils and brown rice, Frog explained the Michigan lore. "Y'all are called festival virgins," said Frog. "Will we be hazed?" said Jane, coyly. "There may be hazing," said Frog. "Oh, gross," thought Paul, and began to look around the area called the fire pit, where all the workers had assembled to eat. He saw the hippies and the sensitive punks from his earlier travels, and a raucous gang of obviously San Franciscan butches and extremely high femmes, but mostly he saw androgynous 70s lesbians, surprisingly appealing in their lapras necklaces and Rosie the Riveter t-shirts. Paul felt like a time traveler, a tourist at a gay reenactment, hidden from History Town. Frog introduced them to friends from Austin, too many to remember names. Paul was tired from the 6-hour drive. "I've got to go to bed," he said in Jane's ear, as he'd seen girls do all his life. "No, that's good," she whispered back. "I'm coming."